With the regular season finally upon us, it's time to reveal our predictions for every NFL team's final record in 2022.
We'll take that one and then you close it out with two divisional games, the Bears and the Packers. Both of those should be losses.
272 wins and 272 losses will be divided among the 32 teams, assuming there's no ties. Here's how we see it all playing out this season. Arizona Cardinals, 10-7. We're worried about that secondary and DeAndre Hopkins' 6-game suspension. But then you look at the offense and the fact that they should have 2 easy wins against the Russell Wilson-less Seattle Seahawks. And you gotta figure double-digit wins are within reach. Give Arizona 10 wins and a wild card berth. Atlanta Falcons 4-13. 6 of Atlanta's first 7 games are against teams who had winning records a year ago. Matt Ryan isn't here to bail them out anymore. Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder don't inspire a lot of confidence. Outside of AJ Terrell and Grady Jarrett, the D has no playmakers. At least they'll be in the running for the first overall pick. Baltimore Ravens, 11-6. They play in a tough division, but the Ravens have a relatively average start to their schedule and several cakewalk victories over the final 8 weeks. A healthy Lamar Jackson, a revamped secondary, and an inevitable breakout year for Rashad Bateman adds up to the franchise's first division title in 3 years. Buffalo Bills, 12-5. The Super Bowl favorites have a brutal 7-game stretch to start the season, but then it gets a lot easier in the second half. It's not like the Bills will start out slowly, however. They have a top 3 QB in Josh Allen and the league's best D, which added Von Miller and Khair Elam. Buffalo's manageable schedule compared to their main AFC challengers means that home advantage throughout the postseason is simply theirs to lose. Carolina Panthers, 7-10. The last time we made our win-loss predictions for 2022, Carolina didn't have Baker Mayfield, but they acquired the 2018 first overall pick from the Cleveland Browns and finally have stability at the game's most important position. And the combo of Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore should do enough to help the Panthers hit 7 wins for the first time since 2018. Chicago Bears, 4-13. It's hard to comprehend what Chicago's offseason plan was. They did nothing to improve their roster, really, especially around the sophomore quarterback Justin Fields. The Bears roster is bad enough as is, and there aren't many winnable games on their schedule. They'll be in the running for football's worst record in 2022. Cincinnati Bengals, 11-6. The tough part of the Bengals schedule doesn't come until after their Week 10 bye. Pittsburgh, Tennessee, KC, Cleveland, Tampa, New England, Buffalo, and Baltimore is an unfair 8-game stretch to close out the year, but the reigning AFC champs should be up for the challenge. It's neck and neck between the Bengals and Ravens for the AFC North. Get ready for a fun race. Cleveland Browns, 6-11. The Browns' Super Bowl hopes went twirling down the toilet the moment Deshaun Watson was handed an 11-game suspension. Jacoby Brissett is a good backup, but he's not going to lead this team to the playoffs in a crowded AFC. A soft 4-game stretch to start the season might help them jump out to a 3-1 start. But then things get tough beginning in Week 5. By the time Watson returns, the Browns will be out of playoff contention. Dallas Cowboys, 9-8. A weak division helped Dallas win 12 games last year. The Philadelphia Eagles got busy adding a bunch of star power to their roster, while Jerry Jones was forced to say goodbye to several core players without making any big splashes. And with Tyron Smith out until at least December, it's not hard to predict a notable regression on offense. It'd be quite miraculous to us if they hit double-digit wins again this year. Denver Broncos, 10-7. If the Broncos played in any other division, we'd give them more wins. But they play in the AFC West, and everybody has to get a fair piece of the pie. Don't let the 10-7 record fool you, though. They're a legitimate title contender with Russell Wilson leading an offense loaded with weapons, and that defense is capable of matching up with most of the game's more potent offensive units. Detroit Lions, 6-11. The Lions should improve in 2022, but only by so much. This is the early stage of a reset in Motor City, and we're still not sold on Jared Goff as the answer at quarterback. The Lions will scratch and claw away at a few extra W's, but they're not quite there yet. Green Bay Packers, 12-5. No Davante Adams? No problem. Aaron Rodgers has always found ways to win without his best receiver, and we're high on the rookie duo of Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, even if A-Rod declines. The Green Bay D should do enough to help them contend for the NFC's top seed. Adding Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt to the front 7, coupled with a healthy Jair Alexander in the secondary, spells bad news for opposing offenses. Houston Texans, 5-12. Davis Mills alone is good enough to help Houston avoid football's worst record. If he improves after a surprisingly solid rookie year, the Texans will be a tough opponent at any given week. But there are too many holes all over the roster, especially on defense. Houston is realistically a couple of years away from contending for a playoff berth again. Indianapolis Colts 10-7. The Colts' toughest games aren't packed together, and they'll benefit greatly from playing two bottom feeders in Houston and Jacksonville twice each. Matt Ryan is better than Carson Wentz and won't let this team unravel late in the season. Consider Indy the team to beat in the AFC South. For now. Jacksonville Jaguars 5-12. Zero chance the Jaguars are anywhere near as bad as they were last year. Doug Peterson brings an easygoing style of coaching and a winning pedigree. Trevor Lawrence should take off with Christian Kirk and a healthy Travis Etienne in the fold. But like the Lions and Texans, the Jaguars aren't ready for that big of a leap. Give them at least another year or two. Kansas City Chiefs 11-6. The Chiefs retooled their offense with Tyreek Hill gone, and the rebuild D brought in Justin Reed and rookies Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis. KC's first 8 games are all against teams that boosted winning records in 2021, but they're the class of the AFC for a reason. Even if they only win 4 or 5 of those 8, this is a team that always finishes strong in the second half. Las Vegas Raiders 8-9. We really want to give the Raiders more wins. They won 10 contests last year, and now they've added Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones. But all 3 of their divisional foes made significant moves to get better. And like we said with the Broncos, everyone in the AFC West has to get their fair share of W's. The Raiders' offense will be prolific, but the O-line and secondary scare us. Those issues will likely be enough to keep Vegas out of the playoffs this season. Los Angeles Chargers 10-7. The Bolts missed the playoffs by the skin of their teeth last year, but they're simply too talented to underachieve again. Adding Khalil Mack to complement Joey Bosa could lead to the league's best pass rushing duo of 2022. Newcomer J.C. Jackson is just another playmaker in the secondary, anchored by Derwin James and breakout candidate Asante Samuel Jr. And that Justin Herbert guy is pretty good too. Put down the Bolts for 10 wins, and this time a playoff berth. Los Angeles Rams 11-6. The Rams have an unforgiving schedule which features 0 easy stretches, but they're the defending champs for a reason, and the star-studded group also added Bobby Wagner and Allen Robinson. The top-heavy Rams still have Matt Stafford, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and Jalen Ramsey. That's all they need to contend for a Super Bowl and to win 11+ games again. Miami Dolphins 10-7. Miami is coming off a second straight winning season. They are a dark horse Super Bowl contender now with Tyreek Hill headlining the new set of playmakers that the Finns added for Tua. Don't overlook the signings of Teron Armstead and Connor Williams to boost the O-line either. Tua should have his best season yet, and Miami's stingy defense will feast off opponents' turnovers. Minnesota Vikings 8-9. We do think the Vikings offense will greatly improve under new head coach Kevin O'Connell. It has the makings to be a top 5 unit. Just too bad we can't have any faith in that offensive line nor the defense. Many is looking at another sluggish start to the season, with Green Bay, Philly, New Orleans, and Miami included among their first 6 opponents. New England Patriots 8-9. The Patriots lost far more than they gained in the offseason. Malcolm Butler's sudden release leaves a gaping hole at cornerback. Also, why in the world is Bill Belichick tasking Matt Patricia and Joe Judge with running the offense? All of New England's division rivals got significantly better this offseason. Meanwhile, they only seem to get worse. Got a feel for Mac Jones, who's going from the game's best OC and Josh McDaniels to 2 failed head coaches. Yikes. New Orleans Saints 11-6. The Saints won 9 games last year despite using 4 different starting QBs. Well, Jameis Winston is back at full health, and the offense should be prolific with a healthy Michael Thomas, free agent signing Jarvis Landry, and rookie Chris Olave now in the fold. Throw in Alvin Kamara and the Saints' stingy defense, and double-digit wins seem like a sure thing. New York Giants 4-13. We can't find any reason to be optimistic about the Giants. They just had to stick with Daniel Jones for another year, huh? Newsflash, Jones isn't the guy, and the offense as a whole looks very weak, and the D moved on from valuable contributors in Logan Ryan, James Bradbury, and Blake Martinez. Congrats on another top 5 pick, New York. New York Jets 6-11. The Jets will also improve in 2022 thanks to an array of changes on both sides of the ball. How much they will improve is the real question though. Will Zach Wilson maximize the new look supporting cast, which features rookies Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall? Will Sauce Gardner quickly emerge as the 5-star shutdown corner the front office envisions him being? If it all comes together, together, Gangrene could push for up to 8 wins. Philadelphia Eagles, 11-6. The Eagles won 9 games last year, and we can't see how they won't improve their win total by at least 2 for 2022. They had arguably the best offseason, adding more firepower on both sides of the ball. The secondary and pass rush will be top-tier units. The rushing game will be lethal as always. It all adds up to Philly's first division title in 3 years. Pittsburgh Steelers, 8-9. It's always dangerous to predict a losing season for Pittsburgh under Mike Tomlin. Why? Because it's never happened. In fact, the team hasn't had a losing season since 2003, but the Steelers play in a division with 2 bona fide title contenders in the Bengals and Ravens. The schedule does pit no favors either, and we've got questions about their quarterback depth chart. The Steelers will be scrappy and tough as always, but the streak of non-losing seasons ends here. San Francisco 49ers, 11-6. The 49ers are looking at a 4-2 start, at the very least, through their first 6 games, with Trey Lance replacing Jimmy Garoppolo as a starter. This offense will reach another dimension and take San Fran into the postseason once again. Seattle Seahawks 5-12. Seattle won just 7 games last season, and that was with Russell Wilson starting 14 games. No way the top 7 wins with Geno Smith and Drew Lock. It's going to be a tough year for Seattle, but there is enough firepower on offense and a nice group of playmakers on D for the Seahawks to avoid football's worst record. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 11-6. The Bucs O-line all of a sudden is a giant concern due to a rash of injuries. And with the league's 4th toughest strength of schedule, Tom Brady and company really have their work cut out for them. Then again, this is Brady and the high-powered Bucs offense we're talking about, and they're complemented by one of the league's elite front sevens. They won't repeat last season's win total, but double-digit wins is still a sure thing. Tennessee Titans, 9-8. Losing Harold Landry for the year with an ACL tear is a brutal loss for Tennessee. What can we say? They really need Derrick Henry to carry the team again, especially with A.J. Brown no longer in the picture. The Titans have enough talent on both sides of the ball to vie for a playoff spot, but the deeper and more balanced Colts will take the division from them this time around. Washington Commanders, 8-9. Playing in football's worst division will help Washington stick around in the playoff race. The defense can only get better after going from elite to subpar in 1 season. Also gotta think Carson Wentz will be better at QB than anybody Washington has used since 2018. Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, and Jahan Dotson are a great set of weapons to take some of the pressure off of Wentz. And with the NFL's easiest strength of schedule for 2022, a winning season isn't entirely out of the question, although we have them coming just short of that mark. What do you think your favorite team's record will be in 2022? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, we're on everything. Go subscribe, go follow. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click down below and subscribe to TPS. We post videos every single day. Every day's a new video. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
On my knees.